It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you and welcome to this special edition of Science Bowl. The two teams you're about to meet have won their first games already. Today's winner moves on to become the third of this year's 4 middle school semifinalists, joining Hyattsville and Greenbelt. Which one will it be? Let's meet the teams right now. First, from Ernest Just Middle School, would you please say hello to Justin Montgomery, Samuel Harrison, and Charles Thompson. And from Kenmoor Middle School, please say hello to Yegane Dastani, Hunter Waples, and Jorge Ramirez. And now here are the categories of questions we use on the Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green Things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body Systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
Here on Science Bowl, we arrange our game board according to question difficulty. The easier questions on the left worth 5 and 10 points. Tougher, 15, 20, ultimately 25, toughest of them all. Both teams start out at 50 points. No penalties ever for incorrect answers. And to the 2 rounds today, we will have the third of our 4 semifinalists in this year's competition. Let's go over and make sure everything's working properly before we start. Red team, Samuel, try your buzzer for me. Thank you, young man. Good luck to you, to Charles, and to Justin. Hunter, would you do the same and try the green team's buzzer? Thank you, sir. Good luck to you, Jorge, and to Yegane. Are we ready? Yeah. Let's do this. Let's have a great game. E before K. So Ernest, Justin, Samuel, let's start the bowl.
Science potpourri for 20.
Science
Potpourri for 20.
Science potpourri for 20 points. Teams on the Big Bang Theory. Dr. Sheldon Cooper's colleagues say that the only way he will ever reproduce is if he splits in half like a mother cell. Kenmoor?
Mitosis.
Mitosis, that's right. They actually reenacted that on the show. Go green.
Let's get physical for 15.
Let's get physical for 15 points. Teams, a multiple choice question. The fish at the Fukushima nuclear power plant in Japan, the one that was damaged during the tsunami, contains cesium-134 and 137, which are radioactive forms of that element. Are they known as isobars, isotopes, or isomers? Kenmoor.
Isotopes.
Isotopes is the correct answer. Yes, indeed. Radioactive isotopes. Yes, sir. Go Hunter.
Body systems for 15.
Body systems for 15 points. Doctors recommend that you increase the amount of lycopene in your diet. Lycopene is a pigment, a red pigment found in tomatoes and watermelon. If you eat those, it seems to reduce the likelihood that you will develop some of these cerebral blockages. Kenmoor.
Tumors.
Not tumors, no. What kind of cerebral blockages might be forestalled if you increase the amount of lycopene in your diet?
I'm going to pass it to Charles.
What do you think, Charles?
I want to say headaches.
More than that. Strokes. Strokes is what we're looking for there. Both good attempts there. No points. 85-50. Kenmoor advantage.
Let's get physical for 20.
Get physical for 20 points. Teams, a piece of black glass was recently found in the Moroccan desert. It turned out to be a Martian meteorite. Trapped inside were bubbles of different kinds of noble gases. I will give you the points if you can name one noble gas. Name one, Kenmoor.
Helium.
Helium is right. Neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon, all noble gases at one time known as inert gases. Now we know they do react, so they are no longer inert. Go green.
Body systems for 20.
Body systems for 20 points. Teams, a really hearty laugh really works out your body. In fact, it is now thought that just like a good workout, these chemicals are released. Kenmoor?
Endorphins.
Endorphins, yes, that give you a sense of bodily well-being as a result. So laugh away. Go, Kenmoor.
Science potpourri for 15.
Potpourri for 15 points. Teams, when it comes to multivitamins, there's a phenomenon. If you have too few, your health does not improve. If you have too many, your health deteriorates. So you need just the right amount of multivitamins. So they call the phenomenon after this character who had it out with 3 bears. Ernest, just.
I'm going to pass it to Charles.
Goldilocks?
Yeah, it's called the Goldilocks phenomenon. Good, go, Red.
Super for 10.
Super 8 for 10 points. Teams, if you order shad roe, you get the fish, but you also get the roe. What is the roe, Kenmoor?
The fish eggs?
The fish eggs, absolutely right. That's the caviar. Go green, not my taste.
Zuparade for 15.
Zuparade for 15 points. Team's multiple choice question. Probably the most famous of the one-celled creatures is the amoeba. And the amoeba famously has something called a pseudopod. Is a pseudopod a big mouth, a true eye, or a false foot? Kenmoor.
A false foot?
A false foot. Pseudo means false and pod means foot. Parse it, you get it. Got it. Go. Green.
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20 points. Teams, although lignin fibers hold wood together, wood is made up almost entirely of this C-initialed carbohydrate that we humans really can't digest very well.
I would
Kenmoor.
like to pass it to Jorge.
Cellulose?
It is cellulose, absolutely right. The material that gives the rigidity to cell walls and to stems. All right. Come on, Ernest Justice, jump back in here. Kenmoor, advantage still yours.
Dateline science for 20.
Dateline for 20 points. Teams, the question is as follows. Back in 1957, the launch of this satellite had reporters saying there's a new moon up in the sky. What was up in the sky, Kenmoor?
Sputnik.
Sputnik, yeah, the Russian satellite that had all of us Americans wondering, are we a second-rate nation because the Russians had beat us to it? Go, green.
Zuparade for 20.
Zuparade, 20 points. Teams, look at the monitor in the studio, please, for this question. Teams, this bizarre animal, this a lemur that lives in Madagascar, does what woodpeckers would do if they lived in Madagascar, which they don't. He has a long middle finger that he can tap onto the bark, and he can tell if there are grubs and insects underneath. Even though woodpeckers and aye-ayes are not related, it's an example of converging what kind of developmental process that changes life on Earth. Kenmoor?
Evolution?
Yes, it's an example of convergent evolution. Yes, indeed. All right, the buzzer is rung. We've come to the end of the first round. Our score at this point, Ernest just 65, Kenmoor 210. We'll be back with more of Science Bowl in just a moment.
My wife's drinking really made things difficult for me. I'd come home from work to find the house was a mess and the kids hadn't done their homework. No matter how hard I tried, things just wouldn't get better. I didn't think it was fair that I had to work so hard just to keep everything normal. I knew if she could just quit drinking, things would be okay. In the meantime, I avoided family and friends because I didn't want to deal with the questions they would ask. My EAP counselor at work sent me to Al-Anon family groups. I didn't think I needed to go to any meetings at this point, but it turned out to be great advice. Listening to Al-Anon members talk about their lives helped me see a different way of looking at things. I never imagined I would be as calm as I am now. Are you troubled by someone's drinking? You might be surprised at what you could learn in an Al-Anon family group meeting from people just like you. Call 1-8884-AL-ANON or visit alanonfamilygroups.org.
Hi, I'm Jordan Sparks, and my I Matter You campaign is all about making a difference, and SOS Children's Villages does just that. I cannot believe how many children SOS has helped around the world by building villages, helping abandoned children, and giving them a mother and house to grow up in. I'm calling on everyone that I know to support SOS in their efforts to help kids at risk of abandonment in countries like Sudan, Vietnam, and Haiti. SOS helps these children over the long term, and you can make a real difference in a child's life. MAD, making a difference. That's what it's all about, and SOS is one of the best. You've got to check them out at sosusa.org.
SOS Children's Villages gives homes and hope to children in need all around the world. Join SOS and Jordan Sparks in making a difference. Visit sosusa.org to learn more.
And welcome back to Science Bowl. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. We've got two teams that have been here before this season, so they are proven champions. They're here today to decide which team moves on in our competition. We start out with 16 middle schools. We end up with the Final Four. Let's go over and find out a little bit about our players. In case you missed them the first time they were on, let's go to Ernest Just Middle School. And Samuel, tell us your principal's name.
Mr. Moore.
Mr. Moore. And the sponsor of your team is Miss Nelson.
Yes.
And she is out there, and she's been working so hard, not just as a sponsor, but also as a judge on our game for other competitions. A real asset to our show and to the school system here. Samuel, any alternates on your team? Because I know Charles and Justin were alternates, so who do you have in the wings out there?
Now we have Annie and Micah.
Okay, they're out there, and they're rooting for the new guys here on the set. Samuel, someday, what do you see yourself doing?
An architect and a lawyer.
Yeah. Now, those two are not mutually exclusive because you got to know all of the local codes before you put your building up because you want to do buildings, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. And skyscrapers, they are challenges, but so too are smaller homes. So you're obviously a talented young man, and we're glad to have you back. This is your second year here on Science Bowl.
Yes.
You're just great. And Ernest Just, you told us before that you've got great STEM classes over there, and you have a positive behavior reinforcement program, so it's a good place to go to school.
Yeah.
All righty. Charles, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do in your spare time?
All right, basically what I do video editing.
Yeah, and you told me you've got some videos on YouTube already about stuff, and that you're also a guitar player, right?
Yeah.
So you can write the score for the movies you produce.
Basically.
I like it. I like it. Why'd you want to be on Science Bowl?
Well, Miss Nelson introduced me to it, and then I said, this is really cool. This will get me started on my acting career. So I said, you know what, why not?
Absolutely. Getting yourself some exposure. You got good poise on camera here, and you're making all the right steps here, Charles. Nice to have you with us. You're welcome. Justin, nice to have you here. This young man tells me, Mr. Zarin, I want your job. He wants to be a game show host someday. All right. Well, you know, I can't last forever, Justin. You taking some notes here, some mental notes? Yeah. All right. Why'd you want to be a game show host?
Because I really like the camera. I like acting, and I also like things are fun. Like your job looks fun.
It does look fun. You know, you got to have enthusiasm for it. You look like an enthusiastic guy. What do you do in your spare time?
I like to read book series.
Yeah. And where do you come by all your science knowledge?
Reading.
Reading. All right. Reading takes you right on through life. Never give it up. Nice to have you here today. Kenmoor, the winningest school in Science Bowl history, and you can see that that tradition is not being threatened here today thus far. Hunter, nice to have you back again because you've been part of the Science Bowl program for a number of years here. Tell us a little bit about your school. What is it? There's so many great things over there. I know you have a philosophy club. You actually went to the National Science Bowl where one of your teams met Michelle Obama. There's a lot going for you over there. What do you like there at Kenmoor?
Well, one after-school activity I just got involved in was the debate team. And it's a really fun activity because we get to go to other schools and debate topics and see how good we are at speaking. And actually, all people on our Science Bowl team are also part of the debate team.
Wow. And it really makes you think quickly on your feet, as we witnessed in the presidential and vice presidential debates. You've really got to have all your facts there. Do your homework first. Who's your principal there at Kenmoor?
Accidentally, I messed up the name last time,
yes.
But it's Miss Fudley,
yes.
And she's a good principal.
She is, absolutely. And she's been there for a number of years, and I know she really supports Science Bowl. And the sponsor of your team?
We have several sponsors. Our main one is Dr. Chris, and then we also have Miss Barrientos, and we also have our new tag coordinator, Miss Novick.
Wonderful. And Dr. Chris also served as a judge on our program, so appreciate his investment in our game here. Any alternates on your team?
Yes, we have one alternate. Her name is Shilpa Roy.
All right. She'll be out in just a few moments. Thank you. And Hunter, you are interested in physics?
Yes.
Someday you want to see yourself at the Fermi Lab?
Yes, I would.
Or CERN over there in Switzerland, is that right?
That would be the ideal career for me.
Ideal career. Always dream big, and I can see you're doing that. You're a great captain. Nice to have you back. Yegane, the young lady whose name I have butchered so much over the past couple of games here. I hope I'm getting closer to the actual pronunciation. Nice to have you with us. Why'd you want to be here today?
Well, as I said before, I was flipping through a bunch of channels and I came across Science Bowl and I was like, hey, that's a cool show. I should try out for it, and I'm
And
on
here
show
you
now.
are.
Yeah.
See, again, unless you dream something, things don't happen. Tell me how you come by all your science knowledge.
Well, actually, I watch TV and I read books. That's where I get most of my knowledge.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Just always be attentive to things. And tell me what your career goals are.
I want to be a lawyer.
Yeah. And you told me that, I think, is it you and your brother argue a lot?
Yes.
And you win most of the arguments, I take it?
Not really.
Not really? Is he older or younger than you?
Older.
Oh, he's older. Okay. All right. Well, I'm sure you hold your own with him. Good luck to you. And Jorge, you're welcome. Jorge, nice to have you back again. This young man was on an elementary school team a few years ago, Oakcrest Elementary. That school doesn't exist anymore. I know they closed that school,
Yeah.
but you won the county championship. So, I mean, you are part of Science Bowl aristocracy. So nice to have you back again. You two are interested in physics, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. And what do you want to do with it?
I've decided on trying to be an experimental physicist, and at the same time try to minor in things like programming or Spanish and things like that.
That's wonderful. I have no doubt you're going to be successful because you've had a great career thus far. Let's get back to our game. 210 Kenmoor, 65 Ernest Just. Lots of points to give away. Start us out. Hunter, please.
Let's get physical for 25.
Physical for 25. Big one in that category. Teams, look at the monitor in the studio, if you would, for this question. Teams, this is the planet Jupiter, and there is the famous red spot. That red spot has been confirmed to be a giant storm, not unlike a hurricane here on Earth. We think that storm has been going on for over 400 years. The reason why it never loses energy is because, unlike hurricanes on Earth, what does that storm not do? Ernest, Just.
I'm going to pass
think,
it to
Charles?
Charles.
Okay, we said the planet doesn't have an atmosphere, so it can't stop
Why?
because
Land masses. Land masses.
because it becomes stronger over land.
Weaker.
It becomes weaker over land, so it continues.
Exactly right. Since there are no land masses up there, it is a gas giant. It has no land to pass over, to lose some of its energy. Absolutely right. All right, you're back in the game. Go, Samuel.
Green things for 25.
Green things for 25. Teams, this is counterintuitive, but the surfaces of most plant leaves are hydrophobic. Meaning what? Meaning what, Kenmoor?
They don't like water. They're afraid of it. Or they don't absorb it well.
Okay. Judges, yes, we will give that to you. Yes, they actually repel water, because if water stayed on the surface of a leaf, you could have bacteria and fungus growing there that would threaten the integrity and health of the plant. Go green.
Zoo parade for 25.
Zoo parade, 25 points, teams. The big one in that category. Teams, bugs that sit on branches above a stream are in great danger from the archerfish. The archerfish can shoot water, knock that bug down, and have lunch. And yet that archerfish never studied physics, knows nothing about gravity and nothing about the bending of light as it goes from one medium to another. What's that known as? What's that known as, Kenmoor?
Refracting.
It is refracting, absolutely right. Fish somehow underwater can accommodate and hit that bug. Go green.
Dateline science for 15.
Dateline for 15 points. Team Stephen J. Hawking, the famous cosmologist, once sat in the same chair at Cambridge University occupied by this famed physicist noted for his laws of motion. Ernest Just.
Sir Isaac Newton.
It is indeed Sir Isaac Newton. Yes, sir, Charles. Good. Go. Red.
Science potpourri for 25.
Potpourri for 25 points. Teams, to avoid counterfeiters, people who issued credit cards and driver's licenses affix these three-dimensional pictures created with lasers onto them. What are those pictures called? Kenmoor?
Holograms.
Holograms, absolutely right. Good, go, green. Nice answer.
Dateline science for 25.
Dateline for 25 points. Teams, back in 1893, an Austrian doctor discovered the sensory function of the ear's semicircular canals. He found that they don't help us hear, they help us do this. Kenmoor.
They help us balance.
Absolutely. They help us keep our sense of balance. Nicely done. Go, green.
Body systems for 25.
Body systems for 25 points. Teams, back in 1943, a Dutch scientist using tin cans and a washing machine developed the first of these machines that people use whose kidneys have failed. Ernest Just.
Dialysis.
You got that right. A dialysis machine, the very first one, got you 25 points. I don't know how sanitary it was, but he came up with the first one. All right, 130 to 310. Samuel, go.
Green things for 15.
Green things for 15 points. Teams, cinnamon is the only spice made of this plant part that is sometimes called leathery or corky. Can you tell us what part of the plant that is, Ernest Just?
The bark.
The bark, yes. Cinnamon bark. A lot of times you can buy it, you can see it all curled up. Good, go. On a roll. Red.
Dateline signs for 10.
Dateline for 10 points. Teams, back in 1947, Chuck Yeager did this in a plane, and Felix Baumgartner did it this year all by himself. Kenmoor.
I would like to pass to Jorge.
Jorge.
He broke the sound barrier. Yes.
He broke the sound barrier. Absolutely right. Phenomenal act of courage. Go. Green.
Science potpourri for 10.
Potpourri for 10 points. Teams, 4.4 of these units of distance equal 27 trillion miles in space. Ernest Just.
Light years.
Light year. You got it, Charles. Good answer. Go.
Let's get physical for 10.
Let's get physical for 10 points. Teams, if you watch television, the newest science show, you'll know that Alka-Seltzer tablets can be used as fuel for model rockets because they fizz and produce a lot of this. Kenmoor.
Gases.
More specifically.
Oxygen, carbon dioxide.
Be specific.
Carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide. Absolutely right. Good. Go.
Okay.
Green.
Body systems for 10.
Body systems for 10 points. Teams, this is a little disgusting, but the acid in your stomach can burn your nose if you do this. Kenmoor.
Vomit?
Yeah. If you burp, too, sometimes it'll happen. Okay, go green.
Green things for 10.
Green things for 10 points. Teams, in WALL-E, the movie, when the robot finds that little green plant, there's hope for planet Earth because what can green plants do? Ernest Just.
They can germinate. Or,
Live. Reproduce.
They reproduce.
Not quite. Kenmoor, the appearance of that green plant in WALL-E on the devastated planet Earth was hope because what can plants do?
Create oxygen or make oxygen from carbon dioxide.
Yeah, they can make oxygen. Yes, right. Through the process of photosynthesis. Good. Go. Green.
Let's get physical for 5.
Get physical for 5 points. Teams, let's talk candy and cookies. Moon pies are named for a satellite. Mars bars are named for a planet. And Milky Way bars are named, Kenmoor?
For a galaxy.
For a galaxy. Absolutely right. For 5 points. Go green.
Science potpourri for 5.
Potpourri for 5 points. Teams, Ray Bradbury's famous book is titled With the Temperature at Which Paper Burns. 451 on what scale? Kenmoor?
Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit. The book is called Fahrenheit 451. Good. Go green.
Dateline science for 5.
Dateline for 5 points. Teams, because of what happened here on August 23rd, 2011, school kids all across the Washington area ducked and covered in October to prepare for another
earthquake.
Earthquake. Right. Go green.
Body systems for 5.
Body systems for 5 points. Teams, Papa Smurf, Mama Smurf, and all the Smurfs must be cyanotic because their skin is what? Ernest Just?
Blue.
Blue is right. Good. 2 left. Where?
Zoo Parade for 5.
Zoo Parade for 5 points. Teams, one of the earliest flags in colonial America, featured this noisy snake who said, "Don't tread on me." Kenmoor?
A rattlesnake.
A rattlesnake. Last question of the game. Green things for 5 points. Money doesn't grow on trees, but it sort of grows on bushes because 70% of paper money is made of the fibers from this plant that turns out little white balls. Kenmoor?
I would like to pass to Yegane.
Yegane?
Cotton.
Cotton is right. And with that, we come to the end of our Science Bowl game. We'll be right back with a wrap-up. Don't go away.
Hello? Hello? I've been on the street for a while. I saw your poster outside. I don't know what to do.
National Runaway Switchboard, how can I help? Call 1-800-RUNAWAY to make the connection.
It's easy, Grandpa. Brush your teeth twice a day. Floss your teeth once a day. That's a way to
can keep your smile for a lifetime, even a boomer-saurus like me.
Boomers, you gotta love them.
Welcome back to Science Bowl, a high-scoring game, and as the judges told me, just one question out of all that we had, all 30 was missed today. That testifies to the skill of these elite students here. We're proud of all of them. Our final tally is Ernest just 160, Kenmoor 375. Congratulations, Kenmoor. You are the third semifinalist in this competition. Yegane and Hunter and Jorge, congratulations. And Shopa, I know how proud you are. Ms. Barrientos, thank you for your involvement. Dr. Chris, thank you. And we will see you in the semifinals. You guys look pretty glum over here, and you shouldn't. This is your second time here. Let's see some nice smiles. My future replacement here, Justin, Samuel, Charles, and Annie, and Micah, congratulations. Miss Nelson, we love you here for all you do. Thank you for being on Science Bowl, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on our program. Bye-bye.